So I can't tell you guys the last time I updated y'all on the Ford Ranger that I've been working on for 2-3 years now. I can't remember if it was either on fire or taken apart shortly after the fire in its grandeur. So yeah, still not running, obviously. Here's a recap of what I've previously done work-wise. So basically, I took the cab off and set it on cinder blocks on the frame, and took the bed off so I could prep and paint the frame. I did the whole brake lines, all that good stuff. I just did the brake master cylinder. All new shoes, drums on this, new bushings for the suspension, new shackles, shackle mounts, whole new exhaust, serviced fuel pump. I didn't have to replace it, but one of the filters was clogged, so I had to do that. Rebuilt diff, all that good stuff. Now, the reason why it's not running is because I tried, when I built this custom exhaust on here, I tried deleting the EGR because I was having problems with that to begin with. So I tried deleting it by simply plugging the hole in the manifold and then unplugging all of the sensors, kind of relating to the EGR. And when I did that, I didn't notice until it was too late, but it tricked the system into thinking it had a massive exhaust leak or vacuum leak, and then to compensate pushed like 3 times the amount of fuel into the engine, which destroyed the spark plugs, destroyed the catalytic converters. It ran horribly, pushed a bunch of gas into the oil, and destroyed the O2 sensors. So what I'm doing now is I tore the whole manifolds, Y pipe, all that stuff off so I can replace the O2 sensors, get rid of the cats, because here in West Virginia there's no emissions regulations. There are, but you don't have to get emissions checked when inspecting your vehicle. So I can just go ahead and delete those and not worry about it. Now let's talk about how I'm going to do that. So these are the cats. They're on the Y pipe right here. These come right off the manifold. And the Y pipe also has the front O2 sensors, and then the secondary O2 sensors are on the mid pipe, which attaches right here. So these are clogged, and these are absolutely clogged up too. Now, I could just cut these off and then add, 8-10 inches of 2-inch pipe to here, and it would be the same, just an effective cat delete. But before I did that, I'm thankful I did this, I tried removing the O2 sensors. I bought the 3 most common sockets, wrenches that I could find for the O2 sensors. It broke 2 of them, and then on the 3rd one, it rounded it out. And I figured I'll just cut the O2 sensor, get vice grips. That did not work at all. So I figured it's going to be the same for that. I'm not going to do any of the work to salvage this piece. I'll just get rid of it. And then, taking the manifolds off, I cracked one of the other manifolds. It didn't crack all the way through, but it was like, well, it did crack all the way through, but you see how this is a circle? The whole, side of it broke off. And then, you can kind of see here how it's not real even when it rusts and all that stuff. So one of the sides was almost completely blown out on the other one. So I went ahead and figured I'll just ditch the stock manifolds. I can buy a nice stainless steel header set for the same price of one of the OEM style manifolds. So I went ahead and got that, but I didn't realize that the engine on my truck is an overhead valve. These are for single overhead cam V6 motors. So I figured, oh, the 4-liter V6s all have the same exhaust flange. No, not at all. So, and I figured I specifically bought these because they say unlimited warranty. Basically, within the first 30 days, you can return it, no hassle, whatever. Well, obviously, you shouldn't trust some random Chinese brand because they don't stick to their word. So that's the case with these headers. And so I figured the spacing as far as between these actual pipes are good. It's just the holes were not, like, the holes on these were a lot more spaced out. So I figured I could just drill them like narrower, closer to the center, and they would fit. But in order to make them fit, I would have to slightly rotate these flanges. So I figure instead of going through all the hassle of doing that while they're on the header, I just sawzalled them off the header so I could cut them properly and a lot easier. So now I'll bolt these. I already made sure they fit on the motor, and I installed the exhaust studs and all that. I'm going to install these, bolt them down, and then space them appropriately. Make sure the header fits, tack weld it on there, and then go ahead and weld up my header. And that's how I'll do it. So I just wanted to share with that. I could not find, after the fact, I looked for specifically overhead valve headers, and I found one of them, I think, on Jegs, and it was like $800 for the pair, which is absolutely ridiculous considering you don't gain much power out of these. You just gain like sound, really. So yeah. Now the reason why now I was gonna go ahead and try and reuse this Y pipe, but I found this is 2-inch. Coming directly out of the stock manifold is 2-inch. This is 2.5. So it's not going to make sense to go from 2.5 to 2-inch to 2.5. So I ordered a kit that comes with all the piping, tubing I need. That's 2.5-inch. So I'll be able to recreate this Y pipe, a catless Y pipe, weld in the bungs for the O2 sensors and all that good stuff. That should go from 2.5 directly from the header to 2.5 to the rest of the exhaust. I hope that's gonna work. And as long as I use an plug anti-fouler for the downstream O2 sensor, it'll trick the system into not throwing an error code when I delete the cats. And as long as I properly plug both of these holes on the headers for the EGR, and I properly bypass the EGR sensors instead of just unplugging them, I should be able to get away with everything working well. I might still end up with an engine light after I do the EGR stuff, but at least then it won't just dump fuel into the engine. But we'll see. So this is pretty interesting. I haven't really seen any info on people installing overhead valve headers onto their Rangers, so I thought I'll give you guys a little update, and of course I'll share with you guys how it sounds. Maybe I'll do an open header startup rev, see how that sounds, and then go from there. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.